Imagine that only a few people know about a secret, the power of separation. This secret leads us on a trip that tests our core beliefs. Doesn't it seem controversial? Most people think that connection means love and care, but I'm going to tell you something that goes against what you might think. Separation can be the key to a happier and healthier life. Doesn't that sound impossible? Get ready for a shocking reveal. This video will show you the less trodden roads of emotional and material separation. I will present psychological practices and points of view that may seem to go against each other, but are necessary for your emotional health and personal growth. Are you ready for a big change that happens quickly? Do not miss this one-of-a-kind chance to learn how to break free from unseen chains and make your mental connections stronger and healthier. The first step on the road to distancing is a step back, wanting a time of separation, not to make a whole, but to gain perspective. Think of yourself at a party where everyone is talking and the music is loud. It can be hard to tell what a friend is whispering. In this situation, just like the noise at a party can make it hard to think straight when we are too involved with someone or something, our feelings can get worse. When you take a step back, it's like leaving that loud place and going to a quieter one where you can enjoy your own company and think more deeply. Seneca, a sage with deep thoughts, said that going back to oneself was very important. This return is about more than just distance. It's also about how you feel and what you think. When our feelings get in the way of our judgment, stepping back lets us enjoy them like a spectator. Watches clouds move across the sky, knowing that they are not us. This distance is not the same as indifference. It's a way of looking at things and our responses without bias, like we're looking at the whole game and not just the piece we're holding. The second step in separation is to think about why you need space in a logical way. To cut ties with someone is not a hasty choice, but the result of careful thought, which is a sign of Stoicism's knowledge and virtue. A thought experiment: picture your life as a boat trip and the people in it as winds and currents. Some of these will help you sail smoothly, while others could send you into rough water. It is very important for the captain of this ship to know which winds to favor and which storms to avoid. This choice is not a getaway. It is a planned change in the direction of your life that is in line with your ideals and well-being. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from being a slave to becoming a wise man, said that it is important to choose relationships that are in line with who we are. When you look at your relationships as windows, you can see what they show you: peace, growth and understanding, or doubt, pain and stress. Deciding to be detached is not the same as giving up something. It's a choice you make to protect your own morals and ethics. The third step on this path of growth is to have a talk with someone you trust. When life seems like a puzzle with pieces that don't fit together, it's time to look to Stoic advice for help. The toughness of great thinkers also shows how important relationships are, stressing that trusting someone is like finding an anchor in the storm. Seneca, who had a deep knowledge of people, thought that giving information was important. He thought of a friend as a mirror that shows not only how we look, but also our inner selves. This exchange isn't just a mirror of who we are, it's also a way to figure out where we're going. Sharing makes a place for understanding and support, where people can share their grief and gain useful insights. It's important to carefully think about who to trust and choose someone who stands for the values we hold dear. This person helps us figure out our feelings and thoughts by echoing them back to us. Their job isn't to solve our troubles. Sometimes all they need to do is listen. Their presence helps us remember that we are not alone on this path. As you share your thoughts, the person you're talking to may reveal little gems of knowledge in their words, truths that shed light on different points of view. Stoicism teaches us that the hardest things in life can be dealt with in peace and with the help of a close group of people. Your friend is an important part of this group, which shows that power often comes from working together. Setting limits for our feelings is the fourth step towards separation. Being in charge of a ship during a storm is a lot like being in charge of strong emotions. The goal of Stoic teaching is not to avoid these waves, but to learn how to move through them with skill and wisdom. In other words, we need to know when to let the waves take us and when to keep our hands on the ship's controls. Having emotions is a normal part of being human, but if we don't set clear limits, they can get in the way. The skill is being able to feel these feelings without letting them take over. Epicurus, who had a deep knowledge of the human spirit, tells us that what matters is not what happens, but how we understand it. This knowledge is very important for setting emotional limits. It's like having a guardian in our minds who accepts our feelings as guests but doesn't let them take over our inner space. For instance, when we're angry, we know it's there and why it's there, but we don't let it control our actions or feelings. To define our feelings is to talk to them, figure out what they're for, and guide them so they don't get in the way of our reasoning. The fifth and most important step in the distancing process is to carefully think about what might happen as a result of the split. When we come to a fork in the path of separation, it's important to stop and look at all of the options. Stoicism doesn't tell people to make snap choices. Instead, it stresses how important it is to think things through carefully. Think of each road as a possible future with different results at each turn. What are you going to find on the path of distance? Will it be growth, peace, and a stronger sense of who you are, or regret and a wish for what they left behind? This practice in planning isn't about accurately guessing the future. It's about being smart about how you prepare. Marcus Aurelius, who was a ruler and had to run a huge kingdom, used to think about the past to help him plan for the future. This is similar to the Stoic idea of using the past to help you make decisions about the future. Think about the times you took a step back and review the results. Did the space give you clarity and peace, or did it leave you feeling alone and full of regret? Think back on the past and use what you've learned to help you find your way in the future. It's also important to think about how your choice will affect other people. Stoicism helps us find a balance between our own wants and the needs of others. When you separate, ask yourself if this action will help you grow as a person and make other people's lives better, or if it could hurt others or lead to mistakes. This step isn't just about looking out for yourself. It's about making sure that your well-being fits in with the bigger picture of our lives. It's like going carefully through a yard, making sure that your steps help the plants grow instead of hurting them. The sixth step on the path to loss of attachment is to take a break from social media. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Now picture social networks as raindrops that are always making that smooth surface rough. This philosophy, which comes from a time before computers and the internet, gives us timeless advice on how to deal with these kinds of distractions. When Seneca thought about how short life is, he might have seen social media as a current source of many pointless distractions, especially when trying to separate from things. This step is about taking back our time and attention and deciding where to put our important energy on purpose. By staying away from them, we're not only escaping a digital flood, but we're also giving our brains a chance to rest and think. It's like drawing the curtains to block out the noise of a busy street. The noise stays, but for a moment, it's not what we're paying attention to. Taking a break from technology for a while is an act of self-care that helps us figure out what makes us stronger and what makes us weaker. It's a chance to get back in touch with yourself, a chance to find your soul again in peace and quiet, away from the noise of the crowd. Getting closer to your most basic wants is what the seventh step of the separation path is all about. It's important to keep our attention on the core of who we are as we move forward on this road. This is what Stoicism is all about, focusing on what's important for our own growth and happiness. This means getting rid of the unnecessary, the noisy, and the unimportant in order to grow. In addition to financial wants, you should also focus on things like mental support, moral purity, and personal growth. just like trees need water and sunshine. Epicurus, who was born and did well in hard times, knew very well how important it is to focus on what is important. His lessons tell us to tell the difference between what we need and what we don't. Think about what you need to feel satisfied, stable, and at peace in your mental life, and apply this philosophy to it. In a world full of options and things to do, remember that sometimes less is more. To be happy with both simplicity and depth, you have to think about what really makes you happy and at peace. In real life, this might mean setting aside time to think about what truly makes you happy, whether it's being alone, having deep talks, doing a skill, or doing other things that are good for your spirit. Figure out what these basic needs are and put them in order of importance. This focus is your guide. It helps you see clearly and with purpose through the complicated things that happen in life. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that you should live, not just survive. Remember to leave a review if you like it, so that more people will interact with our content. Say, thankfulness is the key, and today's date if you don't have anything else to say. Let's go ahead. The 8th step is a celebration of gratitude and the recognition of the present. It's a very important turning point on the path to separation. Here we go into a lot of detail about the virtue of thanks, which is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. At this stage, we take a close, thankful look at what we have now and try to find the blessings and important lessons that are hidden in each of our situations. Being grateful isn't just saying thank you for the good things in life. It also means being able to appreciate the lessons that come from hard times. It's possible to see the world and our own lives from a completely different angle when we practice gratitude. Problems can be turned into steps that help grow as people and make our character stronger. This change in perspective makes us stop focusing on what we don't have and start deeply appreciating the good things we do have, constantly counting our gifts, whether they are important interactions, moments of peace and deep thought, or views of natural beauty, makes it easier to live in the present with awareness and fullness, which makes us stronger emotionally. Practicing gratitude is like creating a beautiful fabric of life's events. Each thread of gratitude adds color and character to the big picture of our lives. To enjoy life in its fullness, this step tells us to see each event as an important chance to learn and grow as people. So, when we add thanks to our journey of separation, we gain a greater link with the present moment and a deeper understanding of what life is all about. It feels like we're looking for an undiscovered gem, where the wealth is not only in the things we own, but also in the lessons we learn from our mistakes. I want you to be excited and interested in this 8th step, because it holds the key to a better and more important life. Step 9 encourages people to be flexible and open to change. At this very important point in the path of separation, we are asked to accept that everything changes and that the world around us is unpredictable. Things happen all the time in life, and some of them are out of our control. What we can control, though, is how we feel and what we do in answer to these things. In this situation, having a flexible mind isn't just a quiet way to deal with changes. It's also a way to actively respond. It means being ready to let go of old ideas and ties when we need to, and being brave enough to face the unknown. It's like sailing a rough river. We have to keep changing our path to follow the currents. We don't have to give up our ideals and beliefs. We just need to find new ways to use them in different scenarios. Flexibility training can also help us become more emotionally strong. We can avoid the struggle and pain that come with fighting what is going to happen by accepting that it is a normal part of life. We learn to adapt to our surroundings instead, turning problems into chances to grow. Furthermore, being flexible gives us the ability to see the good in even the worst conditions. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or problems. It means finding ways to grow as a person through these situations. In the end, Step 9 tells us to dance with life and accept its turns and changes with grace and humility. Step 10 encourages us to show empathy and share our thoughts. In the 10th step of the road of separation, we work on developing understanding and learning how to share. Stoic ideas have helped us understand how important it is to connect deeply with others and make a good difference in their lives. Empathy is being able to understand and share someone else's thoughts. In this step, we learn how to listen carefully, put ourselves in other people's shoes, and accept their feelings and points of view. This helps us bond with the people around us in a deeper way, building relationships based on mutual understanding and support. Sharing, on the other hand, means actively making other people happy and healthy. This can be done in many ways, from giving mental support to helping with real-world tasks. Sharing not only makes other people's lives better, but it also makes our own sense of purpose and satisfaction stronger. In this step, it's important to remember that detachment doesn't mean cutting ties with other people. It means making those links more valuable. Sharing and having empathy are like links that help us bond with others in a real and deep way. By showing understanding and sharing, we make the world a kinder and more helpful place, which is in line with Stoic beliefs of virtue and kindness. Detachment doesn't make us uncaring. It makes us more aware and linked as people. This lets us live a full life. Step 11 emphasizes giving your body and mind food. This is the 11th step on the road of separation. It's time to take care of our mind and body. This step is very important for keeping our bodies and minds in balance as we go through life's challenges. Mindfulness and self-reflection are good ways to start taking care of your mind. Being mindful means being in the present moment and noticing our feelings and thoughts without judging them. This helps us clear our minds and feel less stressed. When we reflect on ourselves, on the other hand, we can see how we think and act in routines and find ways to grow and get better. We also spend time reading, learning, and performing artistic skills to keep our minds healthy. In this way, we can learn new things, be more creative, and keep our minds open and interested. We know how important it is to take care of our bodies by living well, working out regularly, and getting enough rest. The body is how we experience the world, so taking care of it is an important part of living a healthy life. This step helps us remember that detachment is more than just getting rid of stress and problems. It's also about taking care of our physical and mental health. When we take care of our bodies and minds, we are better able to deal with the problems we face in life with strength and calm, which is in line with Stoic ideas of morality and knowledge. This step is a warning that taking care of yourself is an important part of the separation road. When we start to separate ourselves from problems, people, or events, the lessons of Stoicism give us a lot of deep insights and useful advice. This philosophy, which goes back thousands of years, tells us to step back, think carefully about the reasons why we become detached, have enlightening conversations, set limits for our emotional responses, and think about the results of the choices we make. When we focus on our basic wants and stay away from constant outside effects like social media, our actions are in line with Stoic ideals. Stoicism, which has been around for a long time, teaches us that detachment does not mean not caring about other people's feelings. Instead, it means finding inner peace and strength as we deal with complicated relationships and life's obstacles. Stoic ideals shine like a lighthouse, showing the way to a life full of virtue, knowledge, and mental strength. This philosophy gives us the tools to deal with the ups and downs of life with more peace, and it also helps us build stronger, more important relationships with ourselves and with others. Because of this, Stoicism is a useful way to live a more aware and healthy life. Step 12 revolves around the concept of acceptance and embracing the uncertainties of life. In this step, we come to terms with the fact that there are many aspects of life that are beyond our control. It's a recognition that despite our best efforts, things may not always go according to plan, and that's okay. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or giving up. Rather, it's about acknowledging reality as it is and learning to adapt and thrive despite the challenges. just as the Stoics emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This step encourages us to focus our energy and attention on the things we can influence while letting go of the rest. By accepting the uncertainties of life, we free ourselves from the burden of excessive worry and anxiety. We become more resilient in the face of adversity, knowing that we have the strength and inner resources to navigate through difficult times. Moreover, acceptance fosters a sense of inner peace and contentment. Instead of constantly striving for perfection or chasing after elusive goals, we learn to find fulfillment in the present moment and appreciate the beauty of life as it unfolds. Step 13 delves into the notion of resilience and fortitude in the face of adversity. Drawing inspiration from the Stoic philosophers, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, we learn to cultivate inner strength and perseverance. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sentiment encapsulates the essence of resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges with grace and determination. In practicing resilience, we adopt a Stoic mindset that embraces obstacles as opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of viewing adversity as a barrier, we see it as a chance to test our character and develop resilience. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the importance of facing challenges with courage and equanimity, reminding himself to bear in mind that everything is opinion, emphasizing the power of perspective in shaping our response to adversity. Furthermore, resilience involves cultivating a sense of acceptance and surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. Just as the Stoics advocated for embracing the inevitable flux of the universe, we learn to adapt and adjust to changing circumstances without losing sight of our inner equilibrium. By developing resilience, we become better equipped to navigate life's challenges with resilience and strength, drawing inspiration from the wisdom of the Stoic philosophers. Step 14 focuses on the importance of self-discipline and self-mastery in achieving detachment. Rooted in Stoic principles of temperance and moderation, self-discipline is the cornerstone of virtuous living. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, extols the virtues of self-discipline, emphasizing the importance of mastering one's desires and impulses. Self-discipline involves cultivating awareness and mindfulness of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and exercising conscious control over them. It requires us to resist the temptations of instant gratification and prioritize long-term goals and values. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, journaling, and goal setting, we develop the self-discipline necessary to align our actions with our ideals and aspirations. Moreover, self-discipline enables us to overcome procrastination, laziness, and distractions that hinder our progress towards detachment. By cultivating habits of diligence, perseverance, and focus, we become more effective and efficient in pursuing our goals and aspirations. Just as the Stoics emphasized the importance of virtue as the highest good, self-discipline empowers us to embody the virtues of wisdom, courage, and justice in our daily lives. Step 15 explores the concept of equanimity and emotional resilience in the face of adversity. Inspired by the Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Seneca, we learn to cultivate a state of inner calm and tranquility amidst life's ups and downs. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control and some things are not. Equanimity involves accepting the inherent unpredictability of life and embracing each moment with an open heart and mind. It requires us to let go of attachments to outcomes and cultivate an attitude of acceptance and non-resistance. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of maintaining inner peace and serenity in the face of external turmoil, reminding us that we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Moreover, Equanimity enables us to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and compassion rather than react with fear and aversion. By cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness, we develop the capacity to observe our thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. Through practices such as meditation, deep breathing, and cognitive reframing, we strengthen our emotional resilience and cultivate a sense of inner balance and harmony. Step 16 focuses on the importance of gratitude and appreciation in cultivating detachment. Drawing inspiration from the Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, we learn to cultivate an attitude of gratitude and appreciation for the blessings in our lives. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the transient nature of life and the importance of cherishing each moment with gratitude, reminding himself to begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." Gratitude involves recognizing and acknowledging the abundance of blessings that surround us, from the simple pleasures of life to the profound connections with loved ones. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of cultivating gratitude as a source of inner contentment and fulfillment, reminding us that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Moreover, gratitude enables us to cultivate a sense of perspective and resilience in the face of adversity. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives and expressing gratitude for them, we shift our attention away from negativity and cultivate a mindset of abundance and prosperity. Through practices such as keeping a gratitude journal, performing acts of kindness, and expressing appreciation to others, we deepen our sense of connection and fulfillment. Step 17 explores the concept of acceptance and surrender as essential components of detachment. Inspired by the Stoic philosophers, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, we learn to embrace the impermanence of life and let go of attachments to outcomes. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Acceptance involves acknowledging and embracing reality as it is, without resistance or judgment. It requires us to surrender our need for control and certainty and trust in the wisdom of the universe. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the importance of accepting the present moment with equanimity, reminding himself to dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. Moreover, acceptance enables us to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment amidst life's uncertainties. By relinquishing our attachment to outcomes and surrendering to the flow of life, we free ourselves from the burden of anxiety and fear. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, deep breathing, and journaling, we develop the capacity to accept and embrace each moment with grace and gratitude. Step 18 focuses on the importance of compassion and empathy in cultivating detachment. Drawing inspiration from the Stoic philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate a heart of compassion and empathy towards ourselves and others. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of cultivating compassion as a source of inner strength and resilience, reminding us that wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Compassion involves recognizing and empathizing with the suffering of others and responding with kindness and understanding. It requires us to cultivate a sense of empathy and connection with all beings, recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of each individual. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows, emphasizing the importance of humility and openness in cultivating compassion. Moreover, compassion enables us to transcend our ego and self-interest and act in service to the greater good. By extending kindness and generosity to others, we create a ripple effect of positivity and goodwill that uplifts and inspires those around us. Through practices such as loving-kindness meditation, acts of service, and compassionate communication, we deepen our capacity for empathy and compassion and cultivate a more compassionate and connected world. Step 19 delves into the notion of impermanence and the transient nature of life. Inspired by the Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, we learn to embrace the ever-changing flux of existence and let go of attachments to the past and future. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the impermanent nature of life and the importance of embracing each moment with mindfulness and gratitude, reminding himself to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Impermanence involves recognizing and accepting the fleeting nature of all things, from the passing of time to the changing of seasons. It requires us to let go of attachments to outcomes and cultivate a mindset of openness and flexibility. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of embracing change as a natural part of life and letting go of attachments to the past, reminding us that life is like a play. It's not the length but the excellence of the acting that matters. Moreover, impermanence enables us to cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation from the constraints of ego and identity. By recognizing that everything is in a constant state of flux, we free ourselves from the burden of clinging to fixed notions of self and reality. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, letting go rituals, and contemplation of impermanence, we deepen our understanding of the transient nature of life and cultivate a sense of peace and equanimity amidst life's uncertainties. Step 20 marks the final step on the path to detachment, and it revolves around the concept of transcendence and liberation. Inspired by the Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, we learn to transcend the limitations of ego and identity and experience true freedom and liberation. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Transcendence involves recognizing and transcending the narrow confines of ego and identity and experiencing a deeper sense of connection with all beings and the universe. It requires us to let go of attachments to self and surrender to the infinite flow of existence. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the importance of embracing the interconnectedness of all things and experiencing oneness with the universe, reminding himself to look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Moreover, transcendence enables us to experience true freedom and liberation from the constraints of ego and identity. By recognizing that we are not separate from the universe, but interconnected with all beings, we free ourselves from the burden of self-centeredness and experience a profound sense of unity and interconnectedness. Through practices such as meditation, self-inquiry, and contemplation of the interconnectedness of all things, we deepen our understanding of our true nature and experience true freedom and liberation. Step 21 delves into the concept of forgiveness and letting go of resentment. Drawing inspiration from Stoic philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate a heart of forgiveness and release the burdens of anger and resentment. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of forgiveness as a source of inner peace and liberation, reminding us that to forgive all is as inhuman as to forgive none. Forgiveness involves letting go of the desire for vengeance and embracing compassion and understanding towards ourselves and others. It requires us to relinquish the grip of resentment and release the emotional baggage that weighs us down. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that forgive others, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace, emphasizing the transformative power of forgiveness in freeing ourselves from the shackles of anger and resentment. Moreover, Forgiveness enables us to heal the wounds of the past and cultivate a sense of reconciliation and harmony in our relationships. By extending forgiveness to ourselves and others, we break the cycle of suffering and create space for healing and growth. Through practices such as loving-kindness meditation, forgiveness rituals, and compassionate communication, we deepen our capacity for forgiveness and cultivate a more compassionate and connected world. Step 22 focuses on the importance of humility and self-awareness in cultivating detachment. Inspired by Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate humility as a source of inner strength and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the importance of humility in recognizing our limitations and imperfections, reminding himself to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Humility involves recognizing and accepting our inherent fallibility and embracing a mindset of openness and receptivity. It requires us to let go of ego and arrogance and cultivate a spirit of curiosity and learning. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that it is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows, emphasizing the importance of humility in the pursuit of wisdom and self-improvement. Moreover, humility enables us to cultivate a deeper sense of empathy and compassion towards ourselves and others. By recognizing our shared humanity and interconnectedness, we foster a sense of humility and gratitude for the blessings in our lives. Through practices such as self-reflection, journaling, and seeking feedback from others, we deepen our self-awareness and cultivate a more humble and compassionate way of being. Step 23 explores the concept of detachment from outcomes and the importance of surrendering to the flow of life. Drawing inspiration from Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, we learn to embrace the uncertainty of the future and let go of attachments to specific outcomes. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Detachment from outcomes involves relinquishing our need for control and certainty and trusting in the wisdom of the universe. It requires us to surrender our attachment to specific outcomes and embrace the present moment with acceptance and equanimity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the transient nature of life and the importance of embracing each moment with gratitude, reminding himself to be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Moreover, detachment from outcomes enables us to cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation from the constraints of ego and desire. By letting go of attachments to specific outcomes, we free ourselves from the burden of anxiety and fear and experience a deeper sense of peace and contentment. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, surrender rituals, and contemplation of impermanence, we deepen our understanding of the transient nature of life and cultivate a sense of detachment from outcomes. Step 24 focuses on the importance of presence and mindfulness in cultivating detachment. Inspired by Stoic philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate presence as a source of inner peace and clarity. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and embracing each moment with mindfulness and gratitude, reminding us that you must live for another end, if you would live for any end, and the end for which I would have you live is that you may live forever. Presence involves anchoring our awareness in the here and now and experiencing each moment with fullness and aliveness. It requires us to let go of regrets about the past and worries about the future and immerse ourselves fully in the present moment. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Moreover, presence enables us to cultivate a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. By cultivating mindfulness and awareness, we develop the capacity to observe our thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. Through practices such as meditation, deep breathing, and sensory awareness, we deepen our presence and cultivate a sense of inner peace and serenity amidst the busyness of life. Step 25 explores the concept of detachment from material possessions and the pursuit of wealth and status. Drawing inspiration from Stoic philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate contentment and simplicity in our lives. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of cultivating contentment as a source of inner peace and fulfillment, reminding us that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Detachment from material possessions involves letting go of the attachment to wealth and status and embracing a simpler and more minimalist way of life. It requires us to recognize that true happiness and fulfillment do not come from external possessions, but from inner contentment and peace. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Moreover, detachment from material possessions enables us to cultivate a deeper sense of freedom and liberation from the cycle of consumerism and materialism. By simplifying our lives and focusing on what truly matters, we free ourselves from the burden of material possessions and experience a greater sense of abundance and prosperity. Through practices such as decluttering, frugal living, and voluntary simplicity, we deepen our detachment from material possessions and cultivate a more meaningful and fulfilling way of life. Step 26 focuses on the importance of detachment from social approval and the opinions of others. Inspired by Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate self-reliance and inner confidence. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the importance of staying true to oneself and not seeking validation from others, reminding himself to do not waste your time on what you cannot control or influence. Focusing on the flaws, faults, and failings of others can be draining and unproductive. Detachment from social approval involves letting go of the need for external validation and embracing self-acceptance and self-love. It requires us to recognize that our worth and value come from within and are not dependent on the opinions or judgments of others. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. Moreover, detachment from social approval enables us to cultivate a greater sense of authenticity and integrity in our relationships. By staying true to ourselves and speaking our truth, we foster deeper connections based on mutual respect and understanding. Through practices such as self-affirmations, boundary setting, and assertive communication, we deepen our detachment from social approval and cultivate a more authentic and fulfilling way of relating to others. Step 27 explores the concept of detachment from the past and the importance of letting go of regrets and resentments. Drawing inspiration from Stoic philosophers such as Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, we learn to cultivate acceptance and forgiveness towards ourselves and others. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of letting go of the past and embracing each moment with mindfulness and gratitude, reminding us that we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Detachment from the past involves releasing the grip of regret and resentment and embracing the present moment with acceptance and equanimity. It requires us to recognize that dwelling on past mistakes and grievances only perpetuates suffering and prevents us from fully experiencing life in the here and now. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the transient nature of life and the importance of letting go of attachments to the past, reminding himself the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Moreover, detachment from the past enables us to cultivate a sense of liberation and freedom from the shackles of guilt and shame. By letting go of regrets and resentments, we create space for healing and growth and open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities of the present moment. Through practices such as forgiveness meditation, journaling, and therapy, we deepen our detachment from the past and cultivate a greater sense of peace and serenity in our lives. Step 28 focuses on the importance of detachment from the future and the need to embrace uncertainty with courage and resilience. Inspired by Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Seneca, we learn to cultivate trust in the unfolding of life and surrender to the wisdom of the universe. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that it is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows, emphasizing the importance of openness and receptivity to the unknown. Detachment from the future involves letting go of the need for certainty and control and embracing the present moment with courage and resilience. It requires us to recognize that worrying about the future only robs us of the joy and beauty of the present moment and prevents us from fully experiencing life as it unfolds. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of embracing uncertainty as a source of growth and learning, reminding us that life is like a play. It's not the length but the excellence of the acting that matters. Moreover, detachment from the future enables us to cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation from the constraints of anxiety and fear. By letting go of attachments to specific outcomes and embracing the unknown with curiosity and wonder, we free ourselves from the burden of worry and experience a greater sense of peace and contentment. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, surrender rituals, and visualization exercises, we deepen our detachment from the future and cultivate a more trusting and open-hearted way of being. Step 29 explores the concept of detachment from identity and the ego and the importance of recognizing our true nature beyond the confines of the self. Drawing inspiration from Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, we learn to cultivate a sense of inner peace and liberation by transcending the narrow confines of ego and identity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflects on the interconnectedness of all things and the importance of embracing our shared humanity, reminding himself to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Detachment from identity involves letting go of attachments to labels and roles and embracing a deeper sense of connection with all beings. It requires us to recognize that our true nature is beyond the limitations of ego and identity and is interconnected with the fabric of the universe. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them, emphasizing the importance of transcending the egoic mind and experiencing oneness with all things. Moreover, detachment from identity enables us to cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation from the constraints of self-centeredness and separation. By recognizing that we are not separate from the universe, but interconnected with all beings, we free ourselves from the burden of ego and experience a profound sense of unity and interconnectedness. Through practices such as meditation, self-inquiry, and contemplation of impermanence, we deepen our understanding of our true nature and experience true freedom and liberation. Step 30 marks the final step on the path to detachment, and it revolves around the concept of surrender and letting go of the illusion of control. Inspired by Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Seneca, we learn to surrender to the wisdom of the universe and trust in the unfolding of life. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Surrender involves letting go of the need for control and certainty, and embracing the present moment with acceptance and equanimity. It requires us to relinquish our attachment to specific outcomes and trust in the natural rhythm and flow of life. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, emphasizes the importance of surrender as a source of inner peace and liberation, reminding us that life is like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. Moreover, surrender enables us to cultivate a sense of freedom and liberation from the constraints of ego and desire. By letting go of attachments to outcomes and embracing the present moment with openness and receptivity, we free ourselves from the burden of anxiety and fear and experience a deeper sense of peace and contentment. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, surrender rituals, and contemplation of impermanence, we deepen our understanding of the transient nature of life and cultivate a sense of surrender and trust in the wisdom of the universe. In conclusion, the journey of detachment outlined through the 30 steps draws inspiration from Stoic philosophy and principles, guiding us on a transformative path of self-discovery, growth, and liberation. By cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, resilience, and compassion, we learn to detach ourselves from the things that do not serve our well-being and align our lives with our deepest values and aspirations. Through practices such as mindfulness, self-inquiry, and surrender, we deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us and experience true freedom and liberation from the constraints of ego and identity. May this journey of detachment lead us to greater peace, fulfillment, and enlightenment.